Video games in recent years have slowly trended towards one of three categories: visually stunning, multiplayer intensive, or story driven. And with each focus comes benefits and drawbacks, but at the end of the day should still deliver a wow to the gamer. There are some games, sadly, that have great potential and build-up, but never live up to expectations. And Toren is one of those games. Developed by Swordtales and published by Versus Evil, this story-driven adventure looked to bring you the visually stunning story of the Moonchild, Toren, and her quest to save the Tree of Life and the world. The unfortunate truth, however, is that it didn't live up to expectations. First off, the graphics are generally textured well, and have a good feel about them, provided they are not in motion or are intended to be interacted with. In other words, if the object moves, is touched, walked on, or is in any way interacted with, it becomes very unstable and glitchy. Toren's hair, a smooth and oily black mesh, clips through her neck and head on a regular basis, and her dress does likewise to her body. And let's just say that it's possible to stand on nothing on the terrain itself. If this was in the days of Mario 64, it wouldn't be worth mentioning, but Toren did come out May 11th of this year. In some cases, such as the lighting of a scroll on fire, it's a matter of artistic license, but for the most part it feels more like an unfinished product. Past the glitches within the terrain and textures, the interactive world is also very buggy, with objects that don't interact as prompted, character poses that freeze midway through animations, controls that are choppy, and camera angles that are locked into frustrating points. Toren's play ability is unwieldy and frustrating at times. There are moments when you must grab hold of a structure or handle on a pillar to keep from being blown off the tower. And despite the fact you are standing right next to the object and are prompted to grab hold, Toren keeps swinging her sword with each click to grab, instead of actually grabbing. The camera controls are partly free-flowing, though in many moments is fixed to a given angle, and can only be changed slightly, in some cases giving you a huge blind spot and makes moving from room to room inorganic. And of course, there is the occasional moment where Toren's arm freezes in her body, or outstretched, but her sword still swings and she is able to mount walls without a care. Now, putting game function aside, Toren is a story-based experience, meaning that every moment of the gameplay is aimed at pushing the story forward. For many games, this is the turning point to the game's rating. Sadly, Toren doesn't deliver as expected here either. The concept of the game is beautiful, mixing mythology with science fiction, with an attempt to reach a solid moral for the story's end. Unfortunately, that's where it ends. The story is fragmented and in many ways keeps even the most simple of plot points in the subtlest form possible. You are the Moonchild of the mage that attempted to control time and is now trapped in the tower that has been removed from time itself. You die and are reborn hundreds of times in your attempt to free the world from its deadlock with time. Your dead mage father guides you through the learning of this fact and your past, through convoluted and random dreams you have while climbing the tower. You then must slay the dragon that guards the top of the tower and break the curse of the angry sun. No joke, that really is a plot point, and bring the moon and night back. The execution and expanding of the story is minimal, and sadly leaves you disappointed at the ending and its attempt to pull an Inception-style ending. All in all, the story of Toren feels much like 2001: A Space Odyssey, with assumed knowledge, confusing lack of plot, and even the time jump ending to become a baby. Toren looked to be a great game from its teaser trailers and clip art, but sadly didn't deliver in any way to these expectations. With graphical bugs, strange and disjointed plot, and a hodgepodge of seemingly unfinished elements, Toren was very disappointing. With some polishing up of graphics and storytelling, as well as further bug testing, Toren could have been a great throwback feeling game with a completely original story. Thanks for leaving us a like here at Indie Game, and as always, be indie, be free.